I've been asked to make nasi lemak, which is a Southeast Asian dish of coconut rice with some accompaniments. And here is my take on it. For today's cook, I'm using chicken as the main protein. I've got a packet of chicken thighs here, and I'm going to be brining them overnight in a solution flavored with star anise and cloves. These go into a mixing bowl, and I'll add 2 cups of tap water, as well as a generous pinch of pepper, white pepper, and good quality sea salt. Give that a good mix and set it aside. Now these chicken thighs have been deboned and also skinless, so they are a little bit uneven in terms of thickness. So in between a layer of 2 layers of cling wrap, I'll basically use one long sheet here and fold it over. And I'll use a meat mallet basically to flatten it and make sure that there's an even thickness or more or less even thickness throughout the whole chicken thigh. This will enable it to cook evenly when I fry it up tomorrow. Flatten both sides, make sure it's more or less level, and then put that into the bath to soak. When you have done enough pieces, put them all in the brining solution and make sure that the top of the chicken is covered by the water. And cover that with cling wrap and stick it in the refrigerator overnight to brine. It all starts with the rice, doesn't it? And into a pot, 3 cups of rice go. I'll give it a good wash and rinse and drain. Now it doesn't need to be completely dry, but into the pot I will put in 2 stalks of lemongrass, slightly smashed to release the flavor, a generous pinch of salt, and about 1½ teaspoons of pandan essence. Now if you can find fresh pandan leaves, that's great, but pandan essence will do in a pinch. To that, I'll add 200 ml of coconut milk and about the equivalent of 200 ml of plain water, just to bring it a little bit over the mark for this amount of rice, and give it a good stir. Remember that the coconut milk inhibits the absorption of water by the rice, so once the initial cooking period is over, you need to give the rice a good mix and let it continue to keep warm and steam for another 20 minutes or so. This is critical. Now let's revisit the chicken that we brined yesterday. For the batter, about 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 cup of corn flour. To that, I'll add a generous amount of white pepper and a good pinch of salt. Garlic powder, about 1.5 tablespoons, and the same for onion powder. Give all the dry ingredients a good mix, and you can also add things like paprika or chili powder or chili flakes if you want. And now going by feel, I'm taking about half the amount of the mix and setting it aside for dredging. To the big bowl, I add 2 eggs and give that a good mix, and I'll add milk as necessary until I get a thick batter, sort of like a thick pancake batter. Now let's batter the chicken. Using one hand, I put it into the dry dredge, and I basically use the other hand to move it into the wet dredge. And again, with my wet hand, toss it around and continue one piece after another until all the pieces are done, and leave them together in the wet batter. Now here's the secret sauce to a really crispy crust. Add panko to the remnants of the dry dredge and give that a good mix. You don't really need to season it very much because this is more for texture than anything else. Take the battered chicken and place it back into this dry dredge and give it a good coating. And make sure you press it in to ensure that it sticks as far as possible. And once that is done, you go straight into the fryer. Now, as you can see, the temperature is about 180 degrees Celsius, which is perfect. Lower the chicken pieces 1 piece at a time into the hot oil. You don't want to overcrowd it, and as you can see, I've got a fairly small deep fryer here. So I can only manage 1 piece at a time. If you've got a bigger deep fryer, then maybe you can do 2 or 3. Turn the chicken around occasionally to ensure that both sides are evenly browned. And once that's done, remove it from the oil and set it aside to drain. And repeat the process with all the rest of the chicken pieces. Now the devil's in the details, and one of the sides is really this fried anchovy or ikan bilis dish, which I'll show you in a separate video how to do this. You'll also need cucumber and sliced tomato, and the star is the chili paste, the nasi lemak chili paste. You can buy them ready-made or you can make them, and I'll show you that in a separate video as well. I've already posted a video on how to make the perfect hard-boiled egg every time, and please do check it out in the links below. So we've got all the sides put together. Let's start assembling the dish in its entirety. This is the chicken. You can hear how crispy it is. Right, let's split up some rice. Put some slices of tomato and cucumber along with the sambal. And obviously some of the anchovies, the fried ikan bilis. They're lovely and crunchy. Great textural contrast. A hard-boiled egg, sorry. And obviously the star, which is the chicken. Some nasi lemak with the belacan, with the sambal. Fragrant, yummy. Oh. Crispy, juicy chicken. Oh. This is why I cook.